Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're going to explore a truly unique cultural and agricultural tradition coming to us straight from the majestic mountains of India. We are looking at a celebration that honors the earth, the animals, and just the deeply human act of gratitude. And the best part? It's all wrapped up in the rich golden glow of something you might actually already have sitting right there in your kitchen.
But wait, before we get out into the fields and the harvests, we have to tackle a surprisingly serious question for the people of Uttarakhand. That's a stunningly beautiful mountain state in India. The question is, what happens if you don't eat ghee on this specific day? You might be thinking, well, maybe I just save a few calories. But local folklore has a much different consequence in mind. The mythological stakes for skipping your butterfat on this particular day are honestly shockingly high.
Okay, let's dive into this. Local legend warns that you will be reborn as a snail or a slug. Basically, if you completely abstain from ghee on this harvest festival, your next life will be spent crawling on the ground at an agonizingly slow glacial pace. It's hilarious, right? But it's also an incredibly effective way to make sure absolutely everyone, from the youngest kid running around to the oldest grandparent, partakes in the feast. But to really understand why ghee is so mandatory that they literally invented a myth about being reborn as a garden pest, we need to look at the festival where this whole rule originates.
Section 1. The Festival of Olgia.
So picture this. It's mid-August. The heavy summer monsoons are finally starting to fade, the hills are lush and vibrant, and Olgia, which is also known as Ghrit Sankranti or Ghee Sankranti, takes place. The absolute hardest work of the season is done, the crops are actively growing their ears of grain, and the life just suddenly feels a little bit easier. It all happens during a very specific astrological shift, right when the sun moves out of Cancer and enters Singh or Leo. Now, a lot of agricultural festivals in India celebrate the sowing of seeds, essentially praying and hoping for a good season. But Olgia is distinctly different. This is a moment to celebrate the abundance that's already growing right in front of them. The vegetables are plentiful, the land is super fertile, and, crucially, the milk-giving cattle are highly productive from munching on all that lush monsoon grass.
And this festival is just a total sensory overload in the best way possible. Just imagine the smell of village kitchens completely enveloped in the rich, nutty aroma of ghee. Mothers take a little drop of pure ghee and press it right onto their children's foreheads as a blessing, a tilak. Over on the stove, you've got these thick chapatis stuffed with urad dal, that's black gram, just puffing up on a hot pan, and they're later drenched until they literally shine with ghee. There are sweet panjiri treats and fresh colocasia or arbi leaves pulled straight from the garden. And importantly, the vital milk-producing cattle aren't left out of the party. I mean, without them, there's no milk, no curd, and definitely no ghee. So they get this special feast of gratitude too. Extra fodder mixed with sweet jaggery and flour.
Section 2. A tradition of giving. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the festival goes way beyond the kitchen. It's fundamentally about how a community supports itself. So let's shift our focus to the community square and explore this beautiful tradition of giving. Historically, this whole exchange was heavily tied to family networks. Sons-in-law would bring gifts to their fathers-in-law, and nephews would honor their maternal uncles. It was a fantastic way of reinforcing those tight family bonds. But today, the practice has kind of evolved and expanded into a much broader societal exchange. Now you'll see agriculturalists and artisans offering gifts to their landowners and their customers. The dynamic has shifted over time, sure, but the core foundation remains totally rooted in mutual respect and acknowledging the exact people who make your livelihood possible.
And we are definitely not talking about flashy, commercialized items here. The traditional gifts are so fascinating. You've got the binai, which is a traditional oral harp. Then there's the dakucha, actually handmade metallic toothpicks. Artisans might gift agricultural tools they've carefully crafted by hand, like calipers, sickles, or axes. Farmers might just offer what they have a whole lot of at the moment, simple staples like firewood, fresh curd, or a fresh bowl of ghee. The absolute crucial point here is that it is never about the price tag. Not at all. It is purely about the act of respect. And in return, the givers are rewarded with simple, heartfelt blessings, maybe a handful of walnuts or a humble piece of cloth.
Section 3. Uttarakhand's agricultural boom. And this brilliantly illustrates the bigger picture. To truly appreciate why the people of Uttarakhand are so incredibly grateful for their harvest today, we really need to zoom out a bit. We have to look at the real-world agricultural success happening right now that makes this modern harvest genuinely worth celebrating. Because it's not just a mythic tradition we're talking about, it's an active, thriving economy. Uttarakhand isn't just relying on ancient methods upon these stunning terraced farms carved right into the mountainside. No, they are actually leading the country. They are the first and only province in India to elaborate a completely dedicated organic farming policy. The goal here is laser-focused on improving crop productivity, maintaining the health of the soil over the long haul, and ultimately fetching much higher prices for the farmers' outputs to boost their incomes.
And it's a super diverse boom, too. Thriving horticulture is bringing medicinal and aromatic plants, along with a vast range of fruits and off-season vegetables, straight to national markets. And these diverse crops fetch premium prices. At the exact same time, the livestock sector is surging. Government socioeconomic initiatives like the Bacross sheep sector and the Uttara program have become massive success stories. By stepping in and providing the right training, the best seeds, and vital inputs, they've completely revitalized rural communities. And the best part? It's actually helped stem the migration of people leaving the beautiful mountains for crowded cities.
Section 4. The Sacred Liquid Gold.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Even with all this modern success, right at the center of it all remains an ancient, fundamental ingredient. The journey of ghee is just fascinating. It starts entirely out of necessity, way back between 1500 and 500 BCA. So, as cattle were domesticated in ancient India, the warm climate naturally caused regular butter to spoil incredibly fast. By clarifying the butter, which means simmering it down and removing the water and milk solids, they created a fat that was completely shelf-stable. It was a brilliant preservation hack. But then as we move forward into the Ayurvedic era, it transforms into medicine. It's actively prescribed to aid digestion, reduce inflammation, and calm the nervous system, specifically the Vata dosha, which represents dryness and air in the body. Finally, it ascends to this deeply sacred status in Hindu rituals. It becomes a sacred offering and the literal fuel for the ghee lamp, symbolizing spiritual enlightenment and dispelling ignorance. So it goes from a highly practical food preservative all the way to a sacred elixir.
You know, ultimately, gratitude doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need noise. It can sit quietly in a bowl of ghee, in a warm plate of food shared with family, or in a simple tool gifted with deep respect. In an era where so many festivals are increasingly loud, highly commercialized, and flashy, Olgia really stands out. It doesn't shout. Instead, it acts as a quiet, deeply powerful tribute to Mother Earth, to the rich soil beneath our feet, and to the family ties that hold a whole community together. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick thought. It's so easy to look at a mountain village in Uttarakhand and admire their traditions from afar. But bringing it back to your own life, in our fast-paced, highly modern world, how do you take a quiet moment to show gratitude for the food sitting on your table? Think about the complex supply chains, the hard-working farmers, and the earth that actually produced it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as we explored the incredible story of Ghee Sankranti. Keep learning, keep asking those great questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.